In my previous video, I said that the purpose of life and the purpose of world is that a soul within a human body can attain supreme soul. So, this is the earth, this is the world around the earth, this is the soul within a human body, this is consciousness, and this is supreme soul. The difference between consciousness and supreme soul is in the amount of light. So, for a human to attain supreme soul or for a human to attain consciousness, the first step is to find the soul within the body. Soul does not exist in time, it exists only in this moment. If you want to experience the soul within your body, then become aware of this moment. The factor within you that enables you to stay aware, that factor is the discovery of soul. You can attain consciousness only by going deep in the now. Consciousness does not exist in time, past or future. It exists only in this moment, only in now, and it is always this moment. You can choose to think of the past or think of the future, but whatever you do in the now. Whatever ever has happened in the now. Whatever is happening in the now, and whatever ever will happen in the now. This moment, this minute moment, this moment, the now, is only alive and divine. Else everything is mind-made and of this world. Now, suppose this is you. Now, suppose that you practice intense awareness and you attain consciousness. Then what will happen? How will your life become? So, now suppose that in my right hand, this is you who has attained consciousness, and this is the world or the state of the humans who has not yet attained consciousness. So, in my right hand is you who has attained consciousness, and in my left hand is the world that has not yet attained consciousness. Now, I will try to explain you about consciousness and the traits of consciousness. Attainment of consciousness is nothing but attainment of now, attainment of this moment. When you attain consciousness, then this moment becomes primary, else everything of this world becomes secondary and optional. It means that you do not leave this moment in order to attain anything of this world or in return of anything of this world in future moment. And when you have to choose between anything of this world or be conscious in this moment, you choose to be conscious in this moment, or you can say that you choose to stick to consciousness, because consciousness exists only in this moment, and if you leave this moment, you leave consciousness. When you attain consciousness, you become absolutely content in this moment, and then you choose the things of this world. You become the constant watcher of the now. Anything of this world cannot bind you, and when it tries to bind you, you break time and its patterns. Time and world cannot make you react or drag you into unconsciousness or compulsive time or sinful reaction. It watches all the activities, it watches everything, and then responds to it from the point of view of consciousness. It operates from the point of view of consciousness. So this is a brief about consciousness, and I have listed down some of the traits of consciousness, some of the most basic traits of consciousness, and I will deal with them one by one. So I have listed down some of the basic traits of consciousness. So the first one is consciousness, conscious in now. Consciousness, as the name suggests, is constantly conscious in now. And if you can constantly stay conscious in every moment, then you are said to have attained consciousness. Second is no mental state. Now, attainment of consciousness, it is a state of no mind or no mental state. It means that you do not need a mental state to define yourself, to identify yourself. You do not need past or you do not need future. You only need this moment, and you just have to be conscious in this moment. And you can choose to use your physical body and mind for the physical needs of the world. But once your needs are met, you again set aside your mental state and again choose to be conscious and experience consciousness. Then, nothingness and everything. Once you attain consciousness, you identify with being nothingness. It means that you identify with no mental state, you identify only with being conscious in the now. And at the same time, you identify with being everything in the world. It means that whatever you are conscious of in the now, you identify with being that, and you have the capacity to be conscious of everything of this world. So, you identify with being nothingness, and at the same time, you identify with being everything of this world. Then is true love. It is a state of true, unconditional love for every being of this world. It is a state in which you keep on giving this world whatever it needs. You keep on internally delivering the world whatever it needs, but you ask nothing in return. You give everything unconditionally. And why you do it? Because you identify with the world. And what is the inner state of the world? You feel the same state. So you do it for yourself. So now, internally connected to world. I left this by mistake. So internally connected to world. When you attain consciousness, you are internally connected to every being on this world. You are internally connected to every human through the soul that they carry within themselves. You are aware of the inner state of humans and sense the mental emotional state of humans. Fights collective unconsciousness and transmute it to consciousness. You having attained consciousness, you are constantly connected to every being, and you can sense the unconsciousness within the humans, and you use your body to continuously transmute collective unconsciousness into consciousness. And what is unconsciousness? Anything of this world that is not aligned to the understanding of consciousness is unconsciousness. It keeps on aligning humans towards consciousness. And unconditionally, it wants nothing in return. Because it identifies with being everything, so it does everything unconditionally. Then is at service of world and human. Consciousness being connected to every being, it is constantly at the service of world and at the service of life and at the service of human. It helps humans to fulfill their desires. It helps them to make them feel good, and also it supports them internally in all their worldly activities. Now is internal human reach. A person who has attained consciousness is within the reach of all humans because he is conscious in the moment. So every human in this world can connect to the person who has attained consciousness. Now it is up to humans to use this connectedness in proper way, or they can misuse it. Now if the humans choose to misuse this connection, then the one who has attained consciousness will withdraw this connection and will no longer be unconditionally connected to every human being. Rather, it can choose to either be isolated from humans, or it can choose to stay connected to few group of person. It depends on his choice. But now it is not unconditionally connected to everybody. So a human who has not attained consciousness and a human who has attained consciousness, they can connect to each other. He can feel the inner state of this person and consciousness can feel the inner state of this person. Then internal guide. You being consciousness settle down at the base of every human beings and you guide every human beings, not even them being aware. You guide them rightly in worldly activities and you guide them rightly towards consciousness. So you become the internal guide to all living beings. Life teacher. Once you attain consciousness, you have the real understanding of world and you become a life teacher. Bless and destroy. Once you attain consciousness, you have the power to bless and destroy. And finally is the salvation, and when the death arrives, your physical body dies, but you as consciousness gets free from the bondage of life and death, from the bondage of world, from the bondage of physical body, and you traverse freely in space. And the purpose of the soul has been fulfilled on this planet. So these are just a very few traits of consciousness, but in real it is not possible to understand and comprehend consciousness by human mind, because consciousness is beyond world, is beyond time and beyond words. It is not possible to express consciousness. Only when you attain consciousness, you will be able to experience the limitless mysteries to consciousness. So this video is just for understanding. Just be aware. Do not guide or align yourself based on this video. In my further videos, I will align and guide you rightly towards consciousness. I want the members to write your response and queries on the Facebook member page. And if you have not yet become a member, then visit the website and become a member now. www.truemaster.com is the name of the website. Thank you.